And when you deliver, Kenyans will appreciate you. But when you are just launching projects and relaunching, and launching the ones which were launched, and launching the ones you launched, we want to see you moving from launching and relaunching to commissioning. Why are you behaving this way? You are letting us down. That thing really annoyed me. And I said, Jed, you know, this is a bad year for us. Don't get this is a very bad year for us. We will take him to Jandoni. We will take him there. Because we must make him a man. And he knows it. When he wants people who can tell him the truth, he looks for people like me and Professor Manyora. He doesn't look for these other hangabouts. Those are people who just hang on his coats, you know, waiting for things to drop. Do you think Raila is a suicide bomber? Do you think? Do you think Raila will blow up himself and blow this country? If I was the one, that man would have been fired by now. I would have fired him. But you have a boss who cannot fire. Wape vidonge vyao. Ata hiyo mali si yao. This is not his personal house. This is not Sogoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.
A very good day to you from wherever you're watching us. Welcome to Philip Kisia Unscripted. My name is Jadiel Kabiro. I'm so glad that you've joined us once again for this political conversation, a conversation that we hope will help our political leaders in making better policy decisions and political moves. What next for Baba? That is a conversation we're having today with Philip Kisia at his place. It's always an honor to have him. He's a leadership and governance expert, former Nairobi Town Clerk, ex-KICC CEO. He does a lot for this country, more importantly, speaking the truth as he says it. How are you doing? Thanks for welcoming us. So we've met your Ethan around. How have you been?
I'm good. Yeah, I know you've met Ethan. You can see he's very hyper today. He's turning 15. And I want to wish him a happy birthday. May he have many more returns. May God continue guiding him. And may he uphold the values that we as parents are teaching him. So happy birthday, Ethan. And you know, the other day he told me something very interesting. Ethan told me, you know, there's something I want to say, but I cannot say it publicly. So I asked him, what is it? He said, you know what, I feel so sorry for Baba. I want Baba even just to get one term. Just one term. This man has really suffered. Let us just give him one term. But you know, I can't say it publicly because I know the Gen Zs will come after me. But the guy has suffered, man.
The guy has suffered. What have you been reflecting on before you even look at some of the highlights you have this week?
Well, the first thing is, of course, the passing on of Wafula Chebukati, the immediate former chairman of IBC. You know, death is painful, and I'm sure the family is going through a lot of agony. They're asking a lot of questions. But, you know, that is the route that we shall all go through. One day, one time, one moment, we shall all go back to our Creator. And as I was reflecting, and I was saying, the family, of course, is going through this pain. But the other Kenyans who seem not to be so concerned, they are not showing empathy. I'd want to urge Kenyans, no matter the differences we may have had with Wafula Chebukati, Wafula is gone. In Kiluhia, we have this saying that you cannot dance over a dead man's grave. And, you know, you cannot talk to him because a dead person cannot respond to you. But again, you know, in reflecting, I asked myself, there's a start to life, but there's an end to life. And all these things that we do while alive, the vanity, the properties we acquire, some through corrupt means. We steal public resources. We kill our children. We do so many bad things to humanity. But it reminded me of one thing, Jed. the fragility of life. It is fragile. And even as you do all those things in life, just remember that one day we shall all be equalized. We shall be put in the final resting place, which is 6 feet down. It is what? Normally 3 by 6? 3 by 6, or is it 4 by 6?
3.
3 by 6. We shall be deposited in a 3 by 6 as an equalizer. It doesn't matter how much money you have amassed. It doesn't matter what you have done. It doesn't matter who you've been. Ultimately, the final resting place is the same. 3 by 6. So those people who are killing our children, those people who are stealing public resources and thinking that you'll end up in the same hole. The final destination, 3 by 6. 3 by 6. You will be buried even with those watches, gold watches of yours, those shoes that you display around, you boast about them, that they are 2 billion. 3 by 6 is a final destination. The second thing, and I want you to look for this video, this young man on TikTok, Mokaya. I think it's a 60-second video. Just look for it and play.
Umesema kesho tunaingia wapi? Mandera. Hebu nisaidie list ya barabara za huko.
Hii hapa.
Hata ushatengeneza. Tunaingia Mandera. Hii barabara hii ni Mandera, Ramu, Gare, Elwak, Kobo, Kotulo. Wacha nione kama nitakram. Barabara itatoka Mandera, ingie Ramu, iteremke hadi Kotulo, ingine iteremke hadi Kobo, ipitie Dubai, itoke kwa Murima, alafu ifike Isiolo. List kweli nitashika kweli. Na umesema salamu za watu wa Mandera ni gani?
Musangarire.
Salamu za kinyumbani.
Ndio hiyo sasa.
Musangarire.
Musangarire.
So nitaingia huko niwaambie Musangarire mwaku yanza ado wa nyumba.
Hapo boss.
Ha?
Hapo hiyo ni watu wa Murima hiyo.
Hiyo ni ya watu wa Murima.
Hiyo ni ya Murima.
That's Mukaya Kisia. Talk about the roads, mocking the president. Why are we opening the conversation with this?
You see, you young men, you are blessed. You young men have now, instead of going to the streets, you are using now, comedy. But let us take this comedy seriously. Let us not just take it as comic relief. Yes, it is funny. Yes, it is interesting. But the message that is being passed is so powerful. And I'm hoping that some of our, some of our leaders in position of influence in the Kenya Kwanza government take time to at least watch and appreciate what these young children are talking about. If you look at that video, it is asking very, very weighty matters, questions. It is actually reminding us that the president is supposed to be a coveted position, respected position, father of the nation. But the question that this young man could be asking is our president still being respected? Is that office still being held in high esteem? Is it being held in honor? Do Kenyans take the president and the presidency with the seriousness it deserves? Is he still the father of the nation? That is what this young man is asking about. So as you laugh about it, as you smile, please try and get the deeper meaning of some of these videos that the young men are sharing with us.
The president was saying that we are joking with matters of life and death. The road will be constructed.
You see, in fact, don't even go there, Jed. That road was actually is a project that started many years back during Uhuru Kenyatta's time, negotiated, designed, feasibility is carried out, you come in as a new administration and you cause another feasibility study for no apparent reason, so that it can appear to be a new thing. This is an old thing. So in any event, it is a World Bank funded project. So there's nothing new. There's nothing to talk about. Yeah? Please, Mr. President, stop PR. Do the job. Move away from that rooftop. Start working. And when you deliver, Kenyans will appreciate you. But when you are just launching projects and relaunching, and launching the ones which were launched, and launching the ones you launched, we want to see you moving from launching and relaunching to commissioning. Like this 740-kilometer road, we want to see you commissioning, although it is not yours. It started during Uhuru Kenyatta's time, but it's okay. You are the one implementing. So we shall give you credit. But for heaven's sake, we are not going to give you credit for launching and relaunching. It's a waste of time. And may I remind my friend that we're not stupid. If you do the job, we shall see, we shall feel you.
The highlights, Kisia, the highlights for this week.
I have two highlights, Jed. And the first one, in fact, I did a tweet about it, Archbishop Muheria. Just look for that video, Archbishop Muheria.
Advertisements of plans. Government is not advertising agency. It is an agency that implements actions. That's what we want to see. So let's learn government that follows rules, systems and builds, not government that has put all its machinery to advertisement. It was called advertisement. We have to move from advertisement to government. Stop advertising what we should do, we will do, we have done, and rather put yourself to get people, resources, experts, and we have great capacity even in our leadership in government that they can deliver, and especially the delivery to the poor.
That's Archbishop Muheria says the government is all about advertising. He calls it advertisement. What do you think he's saying? What is he implying from this video?
You know, again, Jed, that is a very serious message coming from the man of the cloth. And not just these envelope fellows that we know. Archbishop Muheria is respected. He's a serious man of God. And when he talks, we should listen to him. So it was most unfortunate when my friend Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, the son of Hannah, my very good friend, and my good friend Moses Masika Wetangula, when they made fun out of it. The man of God is asking on our behalf, stop advertising. That's not your job. You're not an advertising agent. Do the job you're supposed to do. And when you do it, we shall see, we shall feel, and we shall give you credit. But when you spend so much resources in advertising air, things that don't even exist, we shall call you out. That bishop, the man of God, didn't just criticize. You know, actually he reminded this Kenya Kwanza government to stop insulting Kenyans, to stop demeaning Kenyans, to stop taking Kenyans for granted. Was he not speaking the truth? Yes or no? That's the question. When Archbishop Muheria says that Kenyans have indeed capacity, they have the expertise to do certain jobs, give them the jobs. He even has given people in government credit. He has said that they are public officers who have capacity to do the job. So allow them to perform. Has he made a mistake? When Archbishop Muheria, on our behalf, is asking the president to shift gear from launching and relaunching and advertising what does not even air, doesn't exist, to commissioning projects. What mistake has he made? I think we need to be a bit more serious and move from just being members of this choir and singing songs in praise of the king who is completely naked. I want to remind my friend Musalia and Wetangula, they should speak the truth to the president. They should speak the truth to their boss because they don't need jobs. Wetangula has been around. God has blessed him. He has been a minister. He has been a speaker. He has been an MP. He doesn't need this job. So he has no business spending time in a praise and worship choir. My good friend, son of Substone, he was a minister at the age of 28. He has been around. He has been a minister. He has been a deputy prime minister. He is now prime cabinet secretary. He is a man of means. Does he have to be in a praise and worship choir? They must speak the truth. They must speak to the truth and tell the president, Mr. President, you are naked. And if they don't want to tell him publicly, they can tell him privately. The second highlight, I want you to look for this, and that one really annoyed me, Jed. I'm really annoyed. Jed, I'm so annoyed. I don't know whether you saw that video. This man, who has been declared by even our international partners as a warlord chief, he's called who? Dagelo? Yes. Look for that video. I think it's about a minute or so. Look for it.
Kisia, in this video, he's being welcomed by our Deputy President, Kithure Kindiki. Of course, there are reports, the UN, America, I've seen a report from one of the senators there that he's the master of genocide. What he has done in Sudan is unforgivable. Why are we welcoming them and giving them a platform here in Kenya?
Well, Jed, you should be asking the question, you people in the media. It is so embarrassing. Did you take time to watch that video?
Yeah.
You saw a warlord. Somebody has already been accused. He's been accused to be a warlord. Being given red carpet. Look at the protocol level. Received by the second in command of a sovereign state. Somebody has been declared a warlord by his own country, by a government sitting in Khartoum. Legitimate government. And they have said this man is a warlord. That this man has, is responsible for genocide. He arrives in Nairobi at our Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. What happens? The second in command receives him on a red carpet. Not only that, look at the demeanor that was shown by, expressed by our deputy president. Second in command, touch wood. Something happening today, Kindiki takes over. Touch wood. Look at his demeanor, Jed. He walks behind a warlord. Somebody has been declared, and Kindiki is there, walking behind him. Where's the oomph? For heaven's sake, Kindiki, you are our deputy president. You are not an MCA. Why are you behaving this way? You are letting us down. That thing really annoyed me. And I said, Jed, this is a bad year for us.
Don't get
This is a very bad year for us. We will take him to Jandoni. We will take him there. Because we must make him a man. How can you be second in command and you are behaving like an MCA? This is somebody who has been declared by his own country. International partners are saying, this is a warlord. He is not a deputy president. How can he be received by the number 2 in command? Why couldn't we just have sent us a junior officer to receive him and put in red carpet? And then you proceed to our iconic building, The property I
Yeah.
revived.
You were managing
I revived.
as the CEO
Yes.
of KICC.
They take him there with his fellows. Again, they lay a red carpet.
What is the protocol?
Is it so embarrassing?
What is the protocol for KICC? If someone like that comes and has
It's so-
an event there,
It's so embarrassing. No, it's so embarrassing. You can even put a red carpet for Jed. You can put a red carpet for anybody, but must it be given government protocol, received by the deputy president? I think that is the lowest that the regime, the Kenya Kwanza regime, has gone. There must be something else that is driving them to receive somebody who has been declared by his whole country a warlord, and to get that level of protocol and VIP treatment. There must be something else. We understand it is blood gold. Is what? Blood gold. That is driving people crazy. That people cannot even see. That people have stopped thinking. Okay? They don't even know that their actions are hurting Kenya. And that Sudan is not happy with what we've done. Okay? So, it's a fact. And there are records that people even in Darfur, Masaliti, are dead. I think they're about, we hear about 150,000 people, human beings have died through genocide. And you are receiving such a person who has been declared a warlord. What a shame. What a shame. In fact, you have actually seen the response from the Sudan government. They have called Ruto reckless. This is a reckless man. They have said, Jed, that his action is in breach of the UN Charter. They have also said that his action constitutes an act of betrayal. Okay? They have further said that the established principles of international order do not allow such behavior. So what has South Sudan, but Sudan, what have they said? Jed, they have said that they remain resolute and they will do whatever it takes to defend their territorial integrity and the people of Sudan. What does that say?
yeah, that's my question. What
They're
does that
actually
mean?
saying we are ready for war. That, you know, in diplomacy about reciprocity, you reciprocate. The way you treat me is the way I'll treat you. So if you can harbor warlords here, what stops Sudan harboring other groups that have whatever differences with the Kenya government? What stops Sudan to do the same? You know, this government is playing with fire. And they need to be called out. They need to be reminded that this is not how foreign policy is formulated. You formulate foreign policy not for personal gain, but for the good of a nation. This action is certainly not benefiting Kenya, but it is most likely benefiting a few people in government. And we shall find out very soon.
Let's get into a conversation. Mambo ya jandoni tuweke kando kidogo. Raila Odinga lost AUC bid. Question is this the end of his political career? Are we looking at a kingmaker again coming back into Kenyan politics and deciding who will be the next president or who will oppose Ruto? Could he actually stand for the presidency in this country? I mean, with Philip Kisia, could Baba actually be Raila the sixth? You know what we were talking about in 2022. Kisia, let's start with context. As you give me context, maybe you can also tell me about what do you think Raila will do? Finish his career, resign, run for presidency? Prof. Manyora here has been saying that Raila is the most viable candidate. When you look at things he'll say, people will actually agree he's the only one who can actually beat Ruto. What do you think is Raila's best move?
You know, one, let me say this. You are actually suggesting that the loss was Raila's loss. It was not Raila's loss. Raila was just a candidate, a Kenyan candidate, fronted by the Kenya government. So the loss is not Raila. The loss is the Kenya Kwanza government loss. He was fronted, he was sponsored by the Kenya Kwanza government. So please, correct yourself.
But there's this notion
Please.
that he's exiting gracefully once he gets AU. Don't you think that that makes sense for Kenyans, that he's going there to exit politics?
Are you now
kind of
suggesting that
gracefully?
now that he has not exited the local scene, he's disgraceful? Are you suggesting? Because you're saying that the strategy was to having exit gracefully
From politics.
by becoming the AU chairman.
Now that he hasn't
Now that
become-
he has not make it, does it make him disgraceful? I think it is not. Let me say this. Kenya made blunders. Kenya forgot that diplomacy is a marathon. It's not a short race. Kenya forgot that diplomacy is not about theatrics and public endorsements that were being carried out. You bring people here, they say we're endorsing Raila. No. Diplomacy is about, doing things behind the scene, doing things quietly, doing things with decency, doing things with finesse. You don't go there shouting as if you are in a rally in Kamkunji. You don't go there shouting and making noise at the top of your voice and carrying 400 or 500 people in delegations. No, that's not about diplomacy. Diplomacy is about being quiet, okay, and lobbying. So you see, the mistake that we made was to present Raila Odinga as a national project. That's what you said, that you want him to exit the local scene.
Yes.
So he became a national project, a Kenyan project. But the continent was looking for a continental project, somebody who will push continental interests. So while Raila fitted the bill, the strategy of the Kenya Kwanza government failed flat on his foot, because he was presented not as a continental candidate, not as a candidate who is going to deal with continental matters, but this is a guy that we want him to exit the local scene. So we don't want more trouble. We are getting rid of him. And where's the best place to dump him? The continental scene. And you see, these people are also smart. They say, no, we are not going to allow you to cure your problem using the continental seat. Go and deal with your own problems. And the day you are ready to serve the continent, we shall listen to you. But again, if you look at how even the president has handled the DRC matter.
You said that from the beginning.
Look at how he handled the Shawari matter. Yeah? When it immediately took over. Look at how he has handled Sudan. Look at how he's handling South Sudan. And you wonder, and you ask yourself, and I've been asking myself, why could the president use people, distinguished Kenyans, who have experience in foreign matters, okay, foreign affairs, and they're there. People like Amina Mohammed should have been playing a key role, even if just as an advisor. People like Fuita Mwangi, and they both happen to have served in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. They both happen to be lawyers. They both happen to be smart. So if you're looking for smart people, there you are. If you're looking for people who are beautiful and handsome, there you are. The delegation that we had was short of that. Was short of the experience, diplomatic experience. They were short. Other than my friend, Ambassador, this gentleman, I'm forgetting his name, he is the only one who had Elkan Odembo. He is the only one who had the experience that was necessary to campaign. But the rest,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Makau Mutua. Pauline Njoroge.
I mean, Macau is a professor of law, but has he ever exercised diplomacy? Has he Does he have experience in diplomacy? Who is the other person mentioned?
Pauline Njoroge,
Well, beautiful girl, but does she have diplomatic experience? Beautiful girl, yes. Fairly intelligent, yes. The other one is who?
I can't remember the others.
Yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful people, smart people. Most of them are smart guys. But do they have the necessary experience to put together a formidable campaign? So those are mistakes we made, and it is sad. It was a heavy loss on Kenya, and I hope we've learned our lessons. That diplomacy, particularly diplomatic, continental or international diplomacy, is not equal to holding a rally in a market in Kenya.
Do you think Raila will take a direct position now in, when he comes back in the country, either to endorse someone like Kalonzo Musyoka or to, vie for presidency? What do you think he will do once he comes back?
You see, one, Raila still has energy. A lot of energy. But let me tell you this. And because he's my friend, and because I speak to him truthfully, okay, and he knows it. When he wants people who can tell him the truth, he looks for people like me and Professor Manyora. He doesn't look for these other hangabouts.
Yeah.
Those are people who just hang on his coats, waiting for things to drop. If I were him, I would tell him, you have had a stellar record. You fought for democracy. You fought for freedom for this country. You've done your best. You cannot come back and fight what you've been fighting for. Okay? You must come back and hold hands. You hold the hands of the people you left behind. And if I was to speak to him, and I intend to speak to him, I will tell him, between now and 2027, they must form a transitional government where he's the head. That would be my advice to him. Let us form a transitional government, a transitional arrangement where, we'll prepare for the 2027 election. So you're asking me, is Raila coming? Raila is now above everything. The other time I told you, you cannot go to university and then you go back to kindergarten. Raila is above all these things. Therefore, the only job he can assist this country to do is to transit. Transitional arrangement. That would be my advice. Therefore, coming back to vie for I don't know what, to become prime minister, I don't know, to become... He has already been prime minister.
There are talks of him becoming
He has
PM.
already been prime minister. He has already been a minister.
Yeah.
He has been all that. In fact, the best job Raila can do is either actually just transiting this government from the current challenges we're facing to a completely new political dispensation and a new order, new governance structure. That is the job that, in my view, remains for Raila Odinga. The other jobs he can do, being a good grandfather, and he's a good grandfather.
Do you
But
think
you're expecting Raila to come and be, I don't know, you say prime minister or
Prime
something?
Minister, vie for presidency?
Stop joking with my party leader.
Let me ask you this, his loss, this AUC loss, which you say now is a Kenyan loss, has it changed anything in the opposition? Do you think there will be a shift if Raila comes back into Kenya? Do you think there is any dynamical shift in the way opposition is structured now with Kalonzo Musyoka?
You see, Raila is coming back. Have the ideologies changed? Have they changed? Have the principles that their shared principles changed? Have they changed? You see, the things that put these people together were not positions. It was about principles. It was about values. It was about ideology. That is the glue that put them together. So even if Raila, and he's coming back, because he's coming back home, nothing will change. The only thing I've said will change is that he's coming to hold the people who he has left behind to ensure that the third and final liberation is achieved. So he can only help in transitioning And there's a team that he left behind, a very capable team. There are people like Kalonzo Musyoka, there are people like Eugene, and there are many others. Now joined by people like even Rigathi. They have joined because they have now realized that they were on the wrong side, and they didn't want to be on the wrong side of history. So they have come back. So the team we have, Jed, is a team that is going to ensure that we have the third and final liberation of Kenya.
When you say that there are talks of him having an alliance with William Ruto, there are talks that because they have been having this AUC working relationship, this could actually, continue. Do you see that happening, and what will that mean for the political structure and even the governance structure of this country if Raila decides to, support Ruto throughout this term?
Do you think Raila is a suicide bomber? Do you think? Do you think Raila will blow up himself and blow this country? There is no way that Raila is coming to join William Ruto.
No way.
They're two different people. The only thing that Raila did was to try and stabilize this country when it was at the brink of collapse, to stabilize, which happened. And we donated some characters to go and assist William Ruto. But the Kenyans are still complaining. Kenyans are still saying that we are hurting. The economy is still doing poorly. You saw the results that were released by Institute of Economic Affairs, which said what? Almost 60% of Kenyans have no disposable income. They have no, actually they cannot even afford a meal. So there is no way. I think, and we as Kenyans, we need to stop dreaming about Raila coming here and endorsing Mr. William Ruto. And this is like day and night. People who don't share values completely. Okay? So I can tell you, Jed, and this you can take to the bank, that there will be nothing like Raila joining this government. Join this government to do what? A government that has overseen extrajudicial killings, a government that has run down the economy, a government that is thriving in corruption. Do you want Raila's record at the very tail end to be messed up with? Is that what you want?
So you think that is...
I am telling you, Jed. And you forget that I'm the executive director of Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Coalition Party. My job is to advise. And I will advise my party leader correctly that avoid this route, and the people who are directing you to that direction are people, and I heard some saying, we are going to be tighter. We are not going to be tight. I am there to make sure that we are not tight. That tightness is only a few people are benefiting. Kenyans and millions of Kenyans are suffering. My job is to make sure that we continue building a team that shall liberate Kenya. Final liberation. That is my job. And you see, Nani, this is a failed regime. We are defeated, Kenya is defeated by Djibouti. They have 8 missions abroad. 8. Kenya has over 20. We have a big economy. And then we suffer a bruising defeat. Bruising defeat. I think, Jed, this was the harsh reminder. It was a very harsh reminder that our foreign policies are failing and we need to review very quickly. And the position that we held, because Kenya has always been respected. Africa has always looked upon Kenya for guidance and support. This is the first time that Kenya is being rubbished. So you want Raila to be part of that history after spending 40 years of his youth fighting for this country and fighting for democracy and fighting for good governance. It will not happen. Not under my watch.
When you say that, what have you seen about our diplomacy, our our act when it comes to dealing with diplomatic affairs here in Kenya? Do you think Moses, not Moses, but Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi has failed us as a country? Do you think he should actually resign from that docket once you've seen what we've seen with AUC?
You see, before he resigns, I'll ask the captain to resign. Yeah. Because see, if you see even the blunders that have been made, the blunders have been made not by the minister in charge of foreign affairs. The goof we made in DRC, the goof we made in, we're just making Sudan.
With Sudan.
The goofs we're making South Sudan. The goofs that we're making even, in Israel. The war in Israel. All those goofs are not as a result of Musalia Mudavadi. They are as a direct consequence of the boss. And sometimes we must appreciate that when the boss has lost direction, the ship, the entire ship will sink. So Musalia is just collateral damage. You saw even the PS goofing the other day, trying to generate a video from CNN. Can you imagine? A whole permanent secretary. A whole permanent secretary. He has not been fired, which means that his boss, the appointing authority, has actually approved what the man did. If I was the one, that man would have been fired by now. I would have fired him. But you have a boss who cannot fire. This, how can you be so, this is ridiculous. Jed is sorry. How can you, as a senior public servant, at the level of a PS, principal secretary, generate some fake video? Fake. I think Kenya have lost it. But that shows you
there's something
that that's how this government prefers operating, in fakeness.
Maybe finally you can talk to me about this Raila's AUC loss. What does it show about our structure of governance and politics here in Kenya, especially if you talk even about transitioning? Him is the opposition leader, here in the country. But it seems like the whole country was held on hostage until we realize whether he has won or lost for politics to move on. What have you noticed and how can you address this so that our politics is not relying on one person in the future?
Of course, Baba has been there for 4 decades. And it is not just easy to replace him. But in the 4 decades, he has made sure that there are people who can take over from him. And that is why, in his absence, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Alliance Coalition Party continued doing and playing the role of opposition. Okay? So, we, of course, need him. But I can tell you, we have people with all the experience that you need that can fit into Raila's shoes very effectively. What we are only asking to do is to come and support this team, to come and hold our hands, so that his dream of leaving Kenya free, of ensuring that the democratic principles are upheld, ensuring that the constitution that he fought for is upheld, finally is liberated and delivered through the third and final liberation. So Kenyans, wake up. Raila has already done his bit. Don't wait for him to do anything more. Let's pick up the pieces and run and move. He will come and just give us a final touch. And we'll just put the garnishing on the meal. Just garnish the meal.
Yes.
But the meal is ready to be eaten. So we are ready. We are ready
for the liberation.
To bury this Kenya Kwanza government. We have the resources. We have the people. We have the strategy. We have the knowledge. We have everything that it takes to bury them. And we have Kenyans behind us. And I remember I said it is 57 million Kenyans versus 1 man.
Thanks for tuning into that one. If you're wondering what's next for Baba, for Philip Kisia here, he says transitioning is the best way for him, helping Kenya in their last and final liberation. Closing remarks this particular Saturday.
Kenyans, careful. You know, when we are being taken around charades, be careful. This is an opportunity for these people to sneak in loans.
Huh?
Yes. Kenyans, be careful. When you're being taken round, this could be an opportunity for them to sneak in the finance bill of 2024. Kenyans, be careful. Be careful. You are being kept busy. This could be the time when they want to sneak in some funny laws and pass laws. Wake up. Have your eyes on the ball. Because if you don't, you will suffer. But in closing, Jed, I want you to play that video where Raila was saying, wape vidonge vyao, wakiiba si pesa zao, wape vidonge vyao, hata hiyo mali si yao, hiyo mali ni ya raia, hiyo ni mali ya umma. Hata wakiendelea tuhakikishe watatapika hiyo mali. Look for that video.
Wanauda ni wajinga na werevu hawana. Wanauda ni wajinga na werevu hawana. Ukiona wakilewa usidhani ni tajiri. Hiyo ni mali ya umma wameiba toka kwetu jama. Wape hiyo pombe yao. Wakilewa wakitapika ni shauri yao.
That is Raila Amolo Odinga, you know. He knows how to deal with the crowds. But why we finish up with this one?
I mean,
just a reminder.
You see, just a reminder that the Kenya Kwanza government has failed you. Okay? And this is the time that you should wake up, even if they have acquired wealth by stealing through public offers. We must make sure that they vomit. We are going to make sure they vomit. We are going to make sure that we bury them. And this is the time.
Thanks for tuning in to this on Wape Vidonge Vyao Watatapika Mali Yetu. Thanks for tuning in. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day. Share this video with as many people as possible so that we actually reach our leaders to make better policy and political moves. Have a great weekend.
This is not his personal house. This is not Sogoi. I think the president needs to stop being simplistic.
Is there a vacuum post Raila?
Play one clip where Ruto has spoken truthfully.